Power lens, the colonial concept of power. The greatest power was not in the colonies themselves, but in England. This had always been the case in theory, but in practice, the colonies really ran themselves for a good amount of their history. The first colony founded by the British in what becomes the United States was in Jamestown, Virginia in 1607. This was founded by an economic venture called the Virginia Company and would not technically be a crown colony until 1624. From then until the 1760s, the colonists had a good degree of autonomy from the more absolute authority of the king and parliament in England. What autonomy meant to the colonies is that they could elect their own representatives who would in turn create necessary laws, collect taxes, and would spend these taxes on things that met the approval of the voters, who, at the time, were land-owning white males, usually at least 21 years old. The self-rule that the colonies enjoyed would come to a rather dramatic end after the conclusion of the French and Indian War, when the powerful in England, the king and parliament, wanted to increase their control of the colonies to prevent further wars and to recoup money spent on the war itself from the people the powerful in Britain saw as the primary beneficiaries of the war, the colonists themselves. Two specific changes in how Britain was to exert its power over the colonies came in the aftermath of this war. One was to control where the colonists were permitted to live, which primarily took the form of the Royal Proclamation of 1763, and the second was a new set of revenue policies that instituted a series of taxes, initially the Sugar Act of 1764, followed by the Stamp Act of 1765, mandated by the British Parliament. These new policies and the growing sense of independence within the colonies led to a tug of war over who had more power in America, which would culminate in what is now known as the American Revolution.